Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 is now available on Nintendo Switch 2 if you buy the super expensive edition of the game like I did, or it comes out in a couple of days. And this game really interested me because I'm a Tony Hawk fan, and of course the fact that, hey, this is the first third-party game to launch on the Nintendo Switch 2 right alongside of the other versions. So how is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 for the Switch 2? Is this a game you should have on your radar? Are there any downgrades versus the other edition? That's what we're going to find out in today's video, taking a look at all of the good, the bad, and a little bit of the ugly of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. But first, we have to give a huge thank you to today's video sponsor. Viture is the leading brand in AR glasses technology, and they are back with a brand new lineup of glasses for those looking for the best picture quality available on the go. Introducing the new Viture Luma Pro glasses, featuring a massive 152-inch screen with 4K-like resolution and Harman audio technology, along with multiple adjustments for those who are near or farsighted. The Viture Luma Pro glasses will transform your phone or your tablet into your own personal movie theater wherever you go, simply by plugging your glasses into your phone. And with up to 1000 nits of brightness and a screen that's 50% sharper than the Viture Pro glasses, you'll see every detail in crystal clear quality. And of course, when paired with the Viture Pro mobile dock, you can unlock your Nintendo Switch 2 with a massive theater-sized screen wherever you go, with great clarity and razor-sharp pixels with no lag. These are the first Switch 2 compatible XR glasses, and you'll be playing on the big screen wherever you go with the Viture Luma Pro. Check out the link in the description box below to get your Viture Luma Pro glasses today and check out the full lineup of Viture products, and a huge thank you to Viture for sponsoring today's video. So much like the remake of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, this is a remake of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. Very, very nostalgic games for me, games that I grew up playing as I was a big skateboarder back in the day. I think my knees and my back won't allow me to do it much today, but I don't know, maybe one day I'll try. The lineup of skaters available to you is a blend of both traditional skaters and the new blood of skaters that I don't really know, so I'm looking for like the OGs, my Rodney Mullins, my Jamie Thomases, Chad Muska, Kareem Campbell, Andrew Reynolds, like all of the classics are here, but then there are some newer skaters. If you are a younger skater, I of course got the special edition, so I have the Doom Slayer and the Revenant, because why not? I mean, these games always had kind of over-the-top characters when it came to stuff like that. I mean, hell, there were porn stars in one of the games, and there are some unlockable characters in the game as well that I'll show you how you get some of them in just a minute. Of course, you have a lot of different customization that you can do. You could buy different boards with in-game currencies, a nice blend of, old school boards and some new school stuff as well. I like some of the decks here. You can actually unlock more stuff to get as well. There's various clothing, from hats to shirts to jeans. You got to wear jeans, and you got to have socks. I don't know. I don't like wearing socks, to be honest with you. Various shoes that you could check out. The shoe list I do feel is a bit lacking. I do hope I unlock some more choices as I go along when playing through the game, because you can see here there are secrets, and basically your in-game currency will allow you different filters. You can get Bam Margera, who, shout outs to Tony Hawk for sticking up for him and getting him in the game. Like, yeah, he's got his problems, but like, come on, dude. He was an integral part of these games. Like, he probably sold a lot of copies with his notoriety that he had going on during that time frame. There are challenges, and within these challenges that can vary from things like tricks to your skater to the games that you play, you can unlock more stuff to have access to. So here I have the Groove Pack, which gives me some different boards and different shirts, doing different tricks and accomplishing certain things when in the game will also give you access to more stuff. like I said, this is where I hope there are more shoes, because I feel like a lot of shoe companies are missing here from the lineup of available shoes that you can get for your custom skater. I haven't really messed with my custom skater yet. Like, maybe eventually I will. But this is cool. I feel like it does give you some incentive to want to continue to play the game and, you know, do certain things with certain characters on certain levels to unlock these sort of things. You have various statistics and leaderboards. You have various options. The soundtrack is actually pretty good. The main song that I wanted in here was the AFI song. And that is in here. I'm doing streamer mode so that I don't get a copyright claim. But there's this Boy Who Destroyed the World, a classic song. So how did the games play? Well, honestly, they play pretty good. You know, Tony Hawk 1 and 2 on the original Nintendo Switch only ran at 30 frames per second, and there was some concern that maybe this would be like similar to that, but I will say the game does run at 60 frames per second. The visual style, of course, is going for a more realistic style, but taking the basic levels that the game offered and then kind of improving upon them. Now, this is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. This was a traditional Tony Hawk game in which, you know, you went through the levels, you collected skate, it was on a timer and stuff like that. Very traditional Tony Hawk stuff, and I think it is well represented in this game. It's still a lot of fun to just mess around on the levels, try to remember like the various things you have to accomplish and how you accomplish it. You could see that the game is running at a smooth 60 frames per second. The visuals are fine, you know, maybe a little soft in some areas, but for the most part, I think the game looks really well done. It's definitely a big step up over what we got with the original games on the Nintendo Switch 1. Not that those were necessarily bad, but I think they could have hit 60 frames if they would have tried a little harder. So it's definitely nice to see that the Switch 2 version is, you know, very similar to what you're going to get on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. And I mean, Doom Guy looks pretty cool, you know, messing around in suburbia here. You also have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 in the game, and this is where things got a lot different, because this was like an open world style game, and now it is now restricted to the timer limit, which I think is very strange as far as why they did that. There's also cut content in Tony Hawk 4 as well. Ollie the Magic Bum is gone because I guess it's a negative stereotype, but, you know, it's kind of like where people are like really upset. Like, I get Kotaku and Polygon would be like, I can't believe you left that in the game. But like, bro, this game isn't for Kotaku and Polygon. But, you know, the changes to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 definitely make it feel a bit weird and a bit different, I feel. But, you know, those things aside, like the games themselves are still a lot of fun, and they still really look good, and they still really play good. And I think that's the most important thing here. Like, there's nice graphical effects going on in the Foundry level here. Like, you'll see some like flames flying off in just a minute. These games are timeless games for a reason. I feel like the gameplay elements have definitely held up well, and I feel like there's not as much, you know, changes done in this game versus kind of what you saw in the previous games, at least with Tony Hawk 3, like we're seeing here. Tony Hawk 4 definitely feels a bit weird, but there are game modifiers that you can do. So if you're struggling with the game, you can basically change things. You can get rid of things like the timer limit, so you can kind of make it a free roam thing for both games, Tony Hawk 3 and Tony Hawk 4. Of course, there is a free skate option in the game as well, but I guess I just don't understand why they changed the career mode of Tony Hawk 4 to make it exactly like Tony Hawk 3. It felt just a bit unnecessary. You know, cut content aside, like, I'm not going to lose sleep over Ollie the Bum being removed, but I feel like it definitely changes how Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 plays, which was a deviation from the formula that we had seen before. And I know a lot of people say, oh, well, they didn't like Tony Hawk 4 and how they changed things up, but I feel like that's revisionist history, because if you were around back in the day, by Tony Hawk 3, like, we were still loving the game, but we definitely wanted something a bit different. We wanted something that was a bit, you know, more advanced than what this game was doing as far as the arcade style. And I think Tony Hawk 4 kind of brought that. Now, like I said, you can kind of remake it by doing different options and stuff, by turning off the timer limit, but still, you know, just kind of strange to me. As far as problems are concerned, I did run into a few minor issues with the game. I wanted to check out some online here just to do a little free skate, see who was online, and I needed to log in, link my I hate this. I'm on a Nintendo Switch 2. You have my information. Why do I need to log into something else? So I'll do that eventually and check it out. You know, I'm not really playing this for the online. It's mostly the single player experience. And another thing I had happen was when I first booted up the game, I'm downstairs in the basement, so I don't have the best Wi-Fi signal. And when I got to choose my skater, the game would actually just freeze. You actually have to go through like the end user license agreement and accept it before you can actually play the game. So make sure you have an internet connection if you plan on playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. But overall, you know, changes done to Tony Hawk 4 aside, the little weird glitches and, you know, needing to log into Activision aside, this is a super fun game. It looks great and it runs great on the Switch too. It actually looks really good in handheld mode as well. I was very impressed by that for the little bit of handheld I did play, but the games are still super fun. You know, if you have nostalgia for these games, it's $40. Like, you don't need to get like the traditional collector's edition. It's 40 or 50 bucks. I don't know off the top of my head, but still, it's not a full price game. You're getting access to 2 different games that have 2 different styles of levels and stuff like that. There's a ton of content to do. And the Switch 2 version running at 60 frames per second is definitely a big win in my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think about these games? What do you think about the footage I'm showing? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Be sure to check out the pinned comment, and the link in the description for Vitcher. Huge shout out to Vitcher for sponsoring today's video. And as always, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.